Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another exciting and naked episode. No, it's not, but I don't know. You might listen.
The Naked Truth episode.
That's right. You might the Naked Vegans. That's our late show. The Doucheless Vegans with Michael Webb and Carla Collins. Hi.
Hurrah! Bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va?
Ça va bien, merci, et tu?
Oh, très bien. But it rouses me too much to hear speak French. And it rouses me too much to hear myself speak French. So we'll have to. Are we speaking French because we just had a baguette?
Maybe. It was a good baguette, I'm not going to lie.
Nothing wrong with a good baguette.
I mean, and you've had the real deal from
that
France.
Sounds like you're talking about something else. Yes, I have. It was nothing like the real deal, but it's not bad.
Close third.
Nothing is ever like the food in France. And there, I've already told you this. You know, guys, it's the douches vegan because I'm not super strict. I go back to France, dude, and I'll be like, vegan what? No.
Where's the cheese?
Not the 2 weeks I'm here.
Real butter
vegan
and real
who?
cheese.
Exactly. Nah. I was also much heavier the year I lived in
Oh my
France.
gosh,
The
no
only
doubt.
time I've had. By the way, keep, the odd time I'll take a peek at our YouTube. I really loathe this camera.
Well, fuck, I look like I'm 187 pounds.
I look like because
well, actually,
we
that's
get
not
the
too bad. I
whole-
wish I was 187 pounds.
That's not a bad weight at all. For a fella.
287 pounds.
I look like I'm going to give birth to like a midget that became an accordion.
Yeah.
No, I can't say midget. # mini Me Too movement. I know. Whatever. Give me your. But I like it. This weirdness happens. I don't know.
I know.
Super
I mean,
Mario sister or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't understand. And we've tried a few different camera angles because I can't stand looking at myself.
Can we just
on
make
the
this
screen.
audio soon, or just claymation figures of both of us? I'm just going to use a really janky Barbie.
Oh my god! Well, sure, we could make this an audio version.
I do notice it where I'm like, what's happening?
I know,
Why do
honestly.
like, what's going on?
Well, the thing is, it takes me an entire I know. The thing is, after watching this back, it takes me an entire week to stop loathing myself enough to record another one.
No one needs that. I know. And just like, but eat vegan. And I'm like working out every day. And I thought, why every time I watch the Doucheless Vegan, I'm just like, what's happening with this shit?
I know
It looks
what
like
happened.
we're always in a fun house, which we are.
It is a
That
fun
part's
house.
good.
Yes, it is a fun house.
But the fun house mirrors less good.
Yes, I concur. I concur. And I know I've put on a couple of pounds during this whole COVID thing.
Most people have.
Oh yeah, and I'm not.
And it's the winter months. See, now it's finally sunny and beautiful
Sure,
out.
the weather's gorgeous, and it's
finally
interesting
here.
because I caught myself thinking today too. Like my appetite has waned now that it's warmer, and not that I ever really had a big appetite to begin with, but I'm less interested in having food because it's beautiful outside, and maybe that has something to do with biology.
It does.
We're
Well,
not packing on pounds through the winter, kind of thing.
hibernating and you get that extra layer of warmth. Also, you said you're a stress eater, and I have the opposite.
I am a stress
When
eater.
I'm stressed out, I can't eat. It's the only reason I'm thin. I am thin. I know it doesn't tell on this camera, but in usual life, I have the opposite problem where I just.
I know. No, I know. And I am, as you said, quite the opposite. So, and I find that now that it's sunnier, I'm a lot happier. Not that I was unhappy before, but maybe that has something to do with the waning appetite too. I'm
100%.
feel less stressed. I feel more alive and, embracing life and all that voodoo.
Of course. Well, it wasn't, listen, it's not really just the warm weather. It was the fact that we
Sun.
had
Lack
40
thereof.
days of gray. It was 50 shades of gray without the fun stuff.
I know, right? Oh gosh.
Yeah, without the bondage. No, it was. They're really, and I love the rain. I like it. I love it to write.
Yeah, but
and
not
it's cozy.
incessantly.
But it was really after a while. The other day when it was started so nice, and I took Zira for a walk,
Oh yeah.
and it started to rain. I just went, no,
I know.
no, like a little 2-year-old having a tantrum. It can't rain today.
I know.
That's enough. And it
I
ruined
know.
my hair, which you can tell. You're asking yourself, how does that hair get ruined? Because it always looks tousled and messy. But trust me, I knew the difference. And yeah, so it's just beautiful to see the warmth.
Yes.
And you get
Oh
out
my God,
there.
what a difference it makes. And what a difference
Sunshine.
the sunshine makes,
Oh, why do you think that's why I was like popping as you know, my supplement game is strong, but I'm
Yes.
popping D3s through this whole COVID thing like nobody's, like fistfuls. We need it. We need the sun. I always feel like everyone way overreacted about never going out into the sun, and
Yeah.
I absolutely I think you need 10 minutes
Yeah,
each side at least
completely-
without any.
yeah.
I mean, again, consult your doctor, but I just like it warms up your organs.
Oh, for sure.
It's
Yeah, I
just that great
completely
warmth. Oh,
disagree with this Victorian notion that we should all be
Aerosols.
pale. No.
Aerosols, rather.
If that was true, then our body would lack the ability to produce melatonin and darken in contrast to the exposure to the sun. I mean, we're designed to absorb rays.
Look at
from the sun.
sunflowers. They go towards
Exactly,
the
just
sun.
like us. We're sunflowers.
Well, a little sunflower. Well, I'm a sun worshiper. I'm bad. That's, by the way, what a nudist is. Did you know that? Because I know
No.
I make jokes how, one of my albums is called Recovery Nudist.
Yes.
Because I did attend a nudist colony, the Four Seasons Nudist Colony outside of Guelph, Ontario, where I went to high school because my bosses at the clothing store, irony alert, ding, ding, owned it. They
Oh,
were
wow.
from Europe.
Oh, my
German.
gosh.
And everybody in there was much, much older
Right.
and all European. And I used to bring my friends or my boyfriends, but even when I'm still a virgin, I loved frolicking naked. But they told me that the whole thing behind being a nudist is that they're sun worshippers.
Interesting.
They want to have the
They
sun
just want
all
to
over their
expose
body.
everything.
And it wasn't like, well, some of them, I was going to say, like, it was by the pool and outside.
Right.
But sometimes someone would just walk by in like work boots and a tool belt. And I'm like, this is awesome. My parents would come. They just
Oh
thought this was
my
Oh yeah, I
God,
went through a
really?
real phase, and you bring a towel everywhere so that if you go on a swing or what have you.
Right. You're not getting your.
Yes,
Body
love
parts.
frolicking in the nude.
Wow,
and I joke
that's
that
interesting.
I'm no longer a nudist because where do you put your phone?
Well,
Times are different now. I'm not a kid.
under a fold. I don't know.
And let me tell you that the people there were much older and
Really.
of
And
course,
no body image issues.
no, that's the other thing too. Well, it's way sexier to cover up a bit.
Yeah.
A swimsuit is way sexier than being fully nude.
Oh,
Especially
shoot.
guys, 'cause that's
Yes.
super fun.
Well, we've had this conversation, right? Like, there's nothing, and we all know I appreciate the male form. There's nothing less appealing to me than a man wearing a banana hammock. I would much rather see a guy in trunks.
Gosh, yes.
And leave a
and
little
Speedos
something.
even are just not to be tolerated.
Oh God,
I can't.
no! I mean, it leaves nothing to the imagination, right?
when
I
can
would
see that
much
whole-
rather.
Yes. Oh gosh.
I would much rather fantasize a little bit, right? Like, I wonder what's beneath your shorts.
Yeah,
you know?
and some I can't remember her name now, but I think she's a star on Disney and at the MTV or whatever awards that just happened. She wore like a tiny bando,
Like a
that just-
surgical bandage?
Yeah, that just covered her nipples. So you had like side boob, lower boob, upper boob. It was awful.
How is that different than wearing a couple of pasties?
And it also just wasn't. And
It's not
I
sexy.
love the female form.
Yeah.
To that point, I know earlier this week I was telling you there's a friend of mine on Facebook, and I'm very close with her mom, actually. They live in Malibu. She goes by the name Malibu Mermaid. And she's obviously through this just gotten herself into smoking shape. Beautiful body. Like really feel like I could work the rest of my life and never have an ass like that. And this is, I think, someone in her 40s, I'm gonna guess. And so she posted a couple of pictures and just got trolled like crazy. And then said, listen, I'm really working on loving myself.
Right.
I don't know how long this body will last. I was proud of it. And I just, I have such a soapbox about this. You know this, Michael. It's like, I don't understand why we can't celebrate everyone. She's proud. She's worked hard. It was so gorgeous. I watched that. She had a video of her walking away, and I'm like, oh my God, look at that ass. And I'm totally straight, but oh my God, I think the female body is the most beautiful. That's why all the art is about female bodies. Like all the great artists of our time, it's typically, except for the David.
Exactly. Come on, Michelangelo.
That's true. But so I get so upset with people because she gets slut shamed and called a narcissist and all these other. And if someone who's really overweight posts a picture in a bikini, they're brave.
Well, they're all celebrated, right?
We really
like I just
have
don't
to
understand.
stop this. It
Well,
doesn't matter your size, your shape, your age. Like women, we have got, and it was other women like you think you're so hot. Well, guess what? She is.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think
come on,
I think that those
guys.
kinds of judgments are born out of your own insecurity,
Of
and
course, it makes you feel better to put some. But you know what? You
well,
never do
sure.
feel better when you put someone down. Like, hasn't that been proved scientifically?
Yeah, but people haven't figured that out for themselves yet. People are dumb. Like, let's be real.
This just in. We have an alert.
Well,
and it just made it made my heart sink.
Well,
see
of
that.
course, but
Because of course I didn't read because I don't read. I like pictures. No, I'm one of the dumb people. But I did. I saw these magnificent pictures. I'm scrolling through them. I told you, I watched the video 3 times of her walking into the ocean in Malibu and thinking, woman,
where do I get me an
girl.
ass like that?
Exactly. And are you single? And then I read the top and I just thought, really, you had to post something that And,
I know.
Oh, come on.
People are vile a lot of the time, right? I mean, and again, it's born of our own
hurt people
insecurities.
hurt. It
Of
hurt
course,
the people who
of
aren't
course.
feeling good about themselves.
But
Like,
it
who do you
never-
think you are? She's just working on her body, and she's not 19.
Well, but it's not just about like we judge everything.
Yes, we do.
Right? We have an opinion about everything. My phrase, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
This is what we do as part of the human condition, and it's so inappropriate. We judge. We judge sexuality. We judge faith. We judge body image. We judge each other's wardrobes. Like it's such a shame. It really is a crying shame, because in so doing you are missing out on what could be potentially a really phenomenal life experience by just embracing somebody else's difference.
And it's the classic book by its cover. And why would you not? I only want to be with people who are different than me.
Well, that's the only way you learn, the only way you evolve, the only way you grow.
I mean, this is going to be the funniest story, and it wasn't even something I watched all the time growing up, but I remember this classic Flintstones episode, and I don't know why it tattooed me. But I was really young, and Fred Flintstone, gets cloned or something, and he lives with himself, and he just wants to strangle himself by the end. And I just pictured that. Like, why would you? You already know you.
Yeah,
I want the exotic and the different and the
absolutely.
My mom used to say her dad's expression was it would be a boring place if we all liked vanilla ice cream. Or
it's true, like Vive la France, right?
Exactly. And having said that, we're actually recording this on the Fight Against Homophobia and Transphobia Day.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
You would think I would know that, being a gay dude, but
well, how come I always know more about gay culture than you?
Because I loathe it.
I'm the world's best hag. That's why.
Well, it's for me, it's about labeling, right? Like I'm not someone who wants to go through life being defined by my sexuality. If you have to have an opinion about me, have an opinion about the things I do and my actions, not about who I welcome into my boudoir.
Oh, exactly. By the way, I've been welcomed into his boudoir. But that's just to get a dog. Go get your dog out of my bedroom. Okay. I totally agree. It's the same. I hate being called a female comic.
Yeah.
No one ever does that. Have you ever been called a male realtor?
No, I don't. I've been called a lot of blank realtor,
Oh.
fill in the blank realtor, but I've never. Or
It's so weird to have any of that. Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be defined with and again, not to be cliche, but love is love. And how I've always wondered. I remember when gay marriage became legal very late in the game, like 2008, briefly in the United States, by the way, because it got reversed and then it's back. And I remember thinking, why would anyone care who anyone else married? How would it affect you? Like, how delicate, insecure
well, that's exactly.
are you
it.
about your own sitch that you would have that much vested interest? And that's where I think I am a narcissist, because I'm like, I don't really care what anyone else does.
I know, and that's the appropriate attitude to have. And just kind of speaking about legislation pertaining to gay marriage and gay rights, that's on a state by state basis. It's not even federal legislation. So California, for example, had legalized gay marriage and then overturned it.
Yep.
But there are still some states in the U.S. that in which gay marriage
Southern
is still
states, perhaps?
illegal.
Oh,
And why isn't it federal legislation? I mean, it's federal legislation in Canada.
yes, and has been for a long time.
Exactly. But, there's still some other countries, like England, for example. Civil union is legal, but marriage isn't. So, there's still some countries that are behind the times. And
Well, look what
happened in the Middle East. I know.
This young, beautiful 20-year-old boy was an honor killing. He was trying to leave to go to Turkey and make his way to Europe because obviously he was very much, and so he, in order to leave, he had to get out of doing his army duties. And although it's totally legal, whatever, you can get out of doing your military service
by declaring your sexuality. Yeah.
And his brother opened his mail, told the father, and he was taken to a remote location and beheaded. The mother is beside herself, and
it's
I was crying for
believable
hours.
to me.
Just for
I know
that this is happening now anywhere.
Yeah.
So we have no idea sometimes how lucky we are, how blessed we are. We can complain away about, for example, here Doug Ford in Ontario, and we're in lockdown. To quote Spinal Tap, too much perspective. I don't know why, but it just devastated me. For
well, of course
hours
it.
yesterday.
Of course it did.
Can you imagine? Because of who you love.
Sure, but I mean, talk about the ultimate judgment, right? The ultimate, superimposing of your ideologies on another human being. Forcing your own idiosyncrasies on another human being, and the ultimate betrayal. It's mind-boggling. And this
people who are supposed to protect you.
Yeah, but that the reality is, I mean, and much to my chagrin, because I've got a lot of amazing Persian friends who embrace who I am without judgment. But there are the select few in Iran and Iraq and other Middle Eastern countries, Muslim countries, who where it's still, legal to kill people like me.
Well, you can throw acid on women. I mean, I don't believe women can drive a lot of the places. They have to, it's the whole covering up. So remember when I said, yes, I totally understand. I know different, but the fact that kind of oppression is still happening.
It still exists. Well,
it needs to evolve a lot quicker.
Of course it does. I mean, and it's not just, something that is, happening in the Middle East. It's, there's some countries in Africa who, believe that we are vermin and need to be extinguished. It's not something that's localized just to the Middle East or Muslim countries.
Some countries in Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, well, sure. You know what? And forgive me, I'm not going to mention any names, but I spent some time yesterday with a good friend who's Portuguese, and he had a hard time even coming out to his family out of fear of reprisal and retribution.
And this is a young dude.
He's in his 30s.
I know.
And so it's not just something, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, this
is my point.
I think people see it as, well, it was quite a problem in the 1950s. It's a problem now.
It's still very much a
problem
now.
Problem. Yeah. So
I think the divide is greater. I mean, I think that there are some people who are significantly more radical than ever they were before, and then there's some people that are significantly more liberal than ever they were before. I just think
the divide, the Grand Canyon just keeps.
It just keeps getting bigger.
Maskers and anti-maskers, there's always that divide, and it is getting more extreme as opposed to coming closer to
exactly
medium. So
sadly,
I know. So, and that's why a big part of our philosophy is not, as I said, we're not imposing our.
Yeah, man.
We're just telling you the cool things about vegan shit.
Sure, make up your own mind.
I'm a plant-based comedian, and I like that. My breasts are plant-based. That's of course a lie. They're silicone-based. More plant-based now, but that's a lot in keeping with our philosophy.
Yeah, totally. I don't want to judge anybody.
Force our
opinions
down anyone's throat.
And what right do I have to force my, ideologies on somebody? If you want to sit down to a steak, let your conscience be your own guide, and I shall do the same, and I'll sit down to my veggie burger.
That's right.
No judgments, man. I mean, it doesn't mean you're still not important. You're not loved, It's just.
Can you imagine not being friends with someone because
no,
they weren't vegan?
No, but there are sadly some vegans out there that are like that, which is why we're doing this to kind of. They're in the
think there's a
minority,
place
praise
in the
God.
market. I
Yeah.
think there's a big void in this marketplace to bring people.
Sure.
Here's the thing with all these divides, no matter what we're talking, whether we're talking plant-based versus, carnivores, conservatives and liberals, there needs to be some communication.
Totally.
We need to offer each other's point of view and see, to that end, I was telling you, I just read a report earlier this week by the Kitchen Pantry. I think it was done where they investigated the best mood boosting foods and the foods that would help not just with depression, but also increasing your brain power. And overwhelmingly, vegan foods were on top. Dark leafy vegetables, plant-based proteins, and you like this, dark chocolate.
Really?
So, sometimes those are the things that I'm trying, because foods do make such a big difference.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
But also everybody, blood types, your body chemistry, your health history, a lot of things come into play that, it's going to be different for everyone. And you and I aren't doctors. I mean, we're doctors of love. And comedy.
Yeah, not practicing doctors.
No, and that's probably good. I removed someone's pancreas once with an oyster fork, but I can't get into that. I signed an NDA.
I just meant that there's no loving going on during this pandemic, so we're not practicing doctors.
No, oh, right,
We've hung up our shingles for the time being.
We did. Got shingles. No, we haven't. We're clean. We're fresh as lettuce. Born again virgin.
Yeah. And not that horrible iceberg lettuce, the tasty stuff.
No one likes iceberg lettuce. Did I tell you that my ex, John, friend of the show, is friend of yours, my first husband, my starter husband, Jonathan, who's still my bestie, my best friend, he hated iceberg lettuce so much that when we'd order room service or anything, he kept telling them he was allergic.
He's allergic to it. I know. I love this story.
I think it's just so fun. John, he's very charming, and he's kind of a brat. Like, he's just a little bit of a weasel that way. And I'd be in like, honey, no one's allergic to it. Oh, yes. Should we get that EpiPen out?
My
the iceberg lettuce allergy. It's like a bee sting and peanuts combined.
Oh, my
I know. So, yeah, iceberg lettuce, blah.
I know. It's pretty awful
and
stuff.
That's why I feel like people want everyone to be iceberg lettuce. Like, everybody's going to be different, okay? So...
variety, it's the spice of life.
It really is.
Belly up to the table of life and enjoy everything.
So in our vegan foods this week, we bellied up to
a few things.
A couple new things to tell you about for the vegan portion. Then back to us talking about stuff we like.
Okay.
Then us gossiping and talking about our shit.
No, we just kind of mash it all together, right? Keep things interesting.
So you brought home Walmart burgers.
I know. So,
I know. You know what? Whatever. I'm going to come out of the closet. I liked them a lot. Okay. They were done on the barbecue, and I was like, I will proudly wear. I like these Walmart burgers.
Yeah, you did enjoy them. I was less impressed. In fact, you ranked them second to the Beyond Meat.
Everything's second to Beyond Meat. Yes. And a distant second. Beyond Meat is,
I mean, that's the benchmark, right? That's what everyone needs to aspire to.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Can't tell the difference. I'm a much more recent eater than you are. Again, everything I feel like I say sounds filthy. But I liked I did like the Walmart.
Yeah,
I
you
rated
did.
them above President's Choice.
You did. You did. And I was less impressed with them. I mean, they were okay. It's not something, and we've had some horrible, plant-based products that we just both
speaking of that
spit out. But I was less impressed with these burgers. I much prefer the PC burger over the. Yeah,
I thought it was.
I mean, I will
close.
eat them in a pinch.
I thought they were at least as good, if not better. Yeah, I dug them. So there you have it, guys. We've got like a one thumbs up, one thumbs down, one snap up, one snap down. We have to think of our own vegan. One V up, one. Down, I guess, for the vegan vixens.
Oh my god!
And then I've become a cook, so that right there should signal the end of the earth.
This is the beginning. I know. In fact, I think that's written somewhere.
The ascension has begun, and it has.
The day that Carla Marie Collins turns into a gourmet cook denotes the beginning of the end.
I've gotten into cooking again. See, I really feel during this pandemic, that's the whole thing. Is, as we said, vive la différence. I'm trying different things. You've got great pots and pans here, great ingredients, all kinds of spices. I've gotten into the vegan thing. I told you, nothing half-assed. Not one cheek. I'm seeing on one cheek right now because I'm trying to look better in this camera angle. So 2 things. I made these meatballs, and I think we talked about this last week, so I don't want to double up on that. But they were, yeah.
Did we? I can't recall.
Because I said, should we have pasta or anything with these? And you're like, no, because it was that good.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what?
The Eve's meatballs.
The Eve's meatballs. And, I just have to pause for a quick moment before we start talking about your recipes and commend you. Like, you are really an amazing cook. I think you've kind of sold yourself short.
Well, it's very creative.
But isn't that what cooking's all about?
And I know it's loving, and you do so much, and you make wonderful meals, and a lot of times my darling gay fiance is, he's one of the few people still out in the wild showing homes or what have you during this crazy pandemic. Very busy. And a couple of days I was like, I just want to get into this. And I know you liked it when you went for seconds.
Oh my God, it was so good, honestly.
I love playing with the spices, and I think I have not a bad instinct for it. And oddly, and I see it as a bit of an homage to my mom, because similarly, my mom, who always worked, right? She had me in April. Mm-hmm. On April 30th, was back in the classroom in September. And she was shunned, by the way, because you can imagine back then, because that's a good 20, 30 years ago, my friends. Obviously, it's more. We all know that. 30 years ago, American. So she, like when we were kids, she was not a cook. She really wasn't. Oh,
I remember you telling me.
Well, one time she had a mixture ready, and I think she forgot she was making French toast and then served it to us as scrambled eggs. I don't know if you've ever had sugar with your eggs, but that's a no for me. That's a maybe for me. And, Rick and I were just, ooh. And my father was like, you're going to eat that all up. Your mother works very hard. And I thought, I guess. And then she just became the hostess with like her mom. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, mom became a phenomenal cook. So maybe it just hits us a little later in life. I'm a late bloomer.
And you've also had some, you've because pre-pandemic, you have always been very busy, and nurturing and fostering your career, and you've had some downtime here, so maybe that's also contributed to
be busy at all times because and I know I'm trying to quiet my mind, but if not, I'll land in jail or I have to wrestle a demon or go through my 17th spiritual awakening, whatever. So I hit snooze on my spiritual awakening and went to the stove. And yeah, it is really...
it's therapeutic, right?
It is.
And you're great at it. Your instincts are phenomenal, right? Like,
please, thank you.
The sauce that you made to go with this meatball dish was like, to coin a Rickism, Carla's brother, like you could stick your dick in it. It was that good. So...
Well, and so I had such success with the meatballs, which if we have repeated that, too bad you have to hear about my cooking.
Well, it's so good it bears repeating twice.
It did. So the Eve's meatballs, just on their own with a bunch of veggies, and a sauce that I made.
It was phenomenal.
Olive oil based sauce. So then I was all inspired by that, and I'm like, oh, we have these Gardein beef tips. Mm-hmm. And again, back when I was occasionally eating meat, I almost never had red meat. So beef tips not being my favorite, but we love the Gardein turkey, plant-based turkey, obviously. We're talking about vegan. We love their fish. We love the chicken much more than, because I don't like chicken in real life. So I was like, I'm going to do a different meal. And the sauce was great, but these beef tips were literally inedible.
Yeah, they were not good. Not good.
Again, see, I just want to keep, don't go near there because it's everything you think is going to be horrible about a vegan dish was there.
Well, for me, it was less so the flavor than the texture. The texture was like, what is this in my mouth?
Overheard. OnlyFans. It was meh.
It was meh.
Brought down my whole bell curve. Picking them out. So, if that's going to be the main thing of your dish and you're like, I like everything but this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, that's why we're here. Exactly.
We want to
the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Spare some folks some anguish.
And and your hard-earned dollars during
Exactly.
this time. Nothing like blowing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to blow some hard-earned money on crap? So
Exactly. Oh, and so another thing, for those of you listening, you know, probably if Canada has a national food known throughout the world, it's poutine.
Oh yes,
It's poutine on the Ritz.
Yes.
And
often
Michael,
mispronounced.
Yes, I know. Well, it's also dangerously close to putain, which is slut. So the laughs ensue. But the other night we ate outside, which was again magical.
My God, it was so good. The weather was phenomenal. We had a bonfire.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was just phenomenal.
3 dogs just sit by the bonfire.
It was magical.
So gorgeous.
It was magical. We had a lovely cocktail, a barbecue burger, and
Yeah, that's when we had the Walmart burgers.
Yes.
Perhaps I was, you know, just maybe swept away by the romance of the whole evening.
maybe.
And you made poutine.
Yeah.
With the fries. So tell people, because I know that's something obviously people think they're going to miss because it involves, the non-vegan is cheese curds, which never sounds good, and gravy and French fries.
Yeah, you don't need to miss out on anything. So we use the VO Life, I'm thinking the shredded cheese, which of course en français
is fromage râpé. So it looks like rape
cheese. We had a chuckle about that the other day. We really are 14-year-old
Cancel
boys.
clear culture.
We really are.
We're 14-year-olds all the time, which is how we've made it through this pandemic. So
we had the Cavendish crispy fries, which in my view are like they're probably the cheaper of the fries around, but they, in my view, are the best. They beat out McCain's in my view.
Golf clap for Cavendish fries,
and they're Canadian. So phenomenal fries. So we just baked off some fries in the oven and sprinkled some VO Life mozzarella vegan cheese over top, and then spooned this delicious Bisto gravy. And we've talked about the Bisto gravies, gravy crystals on previous episodes.
And remember, with the Bisto gravy, though, it does not have
no animal products.
No, but not just that. No animal products, but also it does not have the same shelf life as regular gravy. I'm going to be like, it will congeal into something out of Ghostbusters after a couple of hours. So that just
make what you need. And
a little life hack there. Make what you need and have it right away. It's not something you can sit in a gravy boat.
No. And the reality is, like, why would you want to save it? Like, that's something you want fresh, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want leftover gravy.
So it was great. It was a nice treat.
It was a nice treat. And we don't often eat like that. So it was kind of nice. And particularly, christening some decent weather for a change. It was kind of nice to just sort of push the boat out and have, a couple of cocktails and a burger and fries, and then wrap it all up with this gorgeous bonfire and just enjoy the weather. I mean, I didn't want to call it a night, to be honest with you, but it was a work night.
It was wonderful. We were out there for hours and hours till was well past when the sun went
past
down.
Bedtime. But well worth it.
It was just gorgeous. And so you don't have to, again, if you want to introduce more plant-based items into your menu, you don't have to suffer. First of all, corn on the cob, always been one of my favorites. Any kind of not barbecued, I guess more roasted or over a barbecue. Vegetables are so good. Jalapenos to asparagus to all the things that you would think of right away, to the Beyond Meat sausages, or as I enjoyed, the Walmart burger with some VO Life cheddar on it, even poutine. So there's all, if you're looking to introduce more of these, you don't have to sacrifice or suffer your barbecue season.
No, absolutely not. And as you just pointed out, there's so much, as we welcome barbecue season, there's so much that as a vegan you can do on the barbecue. And the beautiful thing about a barbecue is it adds an extra layer of flavor that you just don't get in an oven.
You can't recreate that.
You can't get that smoky. I think part of it too, is the romantic notion of cooking your food over flame. You know, there is something kind of.
Now you sound like a straight man.
I know.
I love the fact that there's danger with my cooking. There's fire.
Well, there's something kind of romantic about
it.
cooking over a flame, you know, and
very what do you call it? Not prehistoric, but very guttural and
yeah. I mean, it's
back to basic man.
It is. It is kind of back
Very
to the basics,
Neanderthal.
right? I know. Oh my God, I might need a minute.
Now everything turns on Michael. When it's been that long, I know.
I know.
Like,
I know. I'm like
checking out a cartoon.
I'm like just busting out of prison or something.
Exactly. We all are. Everybody will be like inmates on a day pass. Like, is that a conjugal visit? It could.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm worried about my flight home. Hope there's no one in the same row.
Hi.
And I'll be like, I was a flight attendant once, and we all know what that means. Get the creepy lady. Tell her to stop.
Jeez, that's too funny.
So yeah, that was fabulous. So great stuff for summer, and we were talking. We also have to try our vegan ice cream, so we can chat about that.
Yes,
next time we talk to you.
I know. Yeah, we've got to do that. We did promise that we were going to do that last week, but we just never got around to it. But we'll have to put that on.
Again, it hasn't been that warm.
No, it's true. And who
no
wants
one's been like, hey, ice cream?
Yeah,
we're shaking like chihuahuas on.
I know. It's like 4 degrees outside and gray and rainy and miserable. Like,
yay, ice
bust
cream.
out the. I know. But now that the temperatures are improving, and if Mother Nature knows what's good for her, it'll stay this way for a while.
Yes, it's always
that is a warning.
Always threaten the universe. It works best
Cancel
that way.
Cleo.
Listen, bitch. Mother Nature. She's a mother, so you don't want to mess, as I believe the old cliche goes. I don't know why this is reminding me, but I was, we always talk about spiritual stuff on the show, and we're both really into it, but it's also, I can't wait to make fun of it. So I was talking to a friend, and I was talking about, Miles Meals, the dog food you and I are, what did you say, our retirement fund?
It is our retirement fund, yes.
Now if I could just find a fund for next week. So anyway, I was talking about Miles, and my friend, and I love her, Hermela said, well, no, don't, in many cultures, they don't use the word death. They say, no, Miles went through the change. And I said, now it just sounds like Miles went through menopause.
I know, Miles
which
is menopausal.
Which did make me giggle, like, what? I feel like that probably didn't happen, but, so that was my spiritual thing for because that made me giggle. And then I forgot that I was sad. But I'm reading this because a very close friend of mine, Michael Stewart Webb, said, why don't you surrender a little bit more? Obviously, a lot of things are out of control for an entertainer. And we had, after one of our wonderful evenings and meals outside, you were like, you got to let something else take over. So I ordered this book, Michael A. Singer. He wrote The Untethered Soul, which is a New York Times bestseller. I think a lot of people have heard of that, but I hadn't heard of this, The Surrender Experiment.
Go on.
And basically, to summarize it, and I think, first of all, he has a spiritual awakening. I'm going to give you just a little Reader's Digest version where he notices, like when he's 20 years old, when he's talking to his brother-in-law or something, that he notices that his essence is just listening to these words. Like, there's the chatter, our ego, in the chatter of our mind that never turns off, right? That's what meditation's all about. So at first, for the first few chapters, I'm like, this guy's just meditating and doing yoga the whole time. And his life is redonkulous. So he decides to let the universe take over because things work in perfection in the universe. And he does that by removing his personal preferences. Because we all, as we started this conversation, it's something that we like or we don't like. So something would come forward in his life and he would think, oh God, that's not me at all. But he would throw caution to the wind, and it would be insane results. Of course, he's a multi-millionaire still living on the same estate. He became Build with Love. He became a contractor, a computer programmer.
Amazing.
It's really quite something. And each time, because it's a bit, it reminded me of the Kabbalah's theory of whatever is your nature. Like if you're really gregarious, hang
Pull
back
back,
when you're with a group. So it was the whole surrender that the universe knows best.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I joked that I tried that the other day because we're having internet issues, which during a pandemic I do not care for, because a lot of times I just barely make it to my class. Like, I've got to have this yoga class. So I kept trying to do my yoga class and it was freezing. And I thought, well, instead I'll take Zero for a walk, and then it rained on me. So my surrendering has worked less well, but I'm just at the beginner stage. But the reason I'm tying this in is if you're one of our faithful listeners, we have entered into the age of Aquarius, and that post-pandemic, according to all the spiritual circles and people who know much more than I, that we are now, after thousands of years of masculine energy, we are now in feminine energy, and that's about receiving, about being a magnet, and about surrendering and letting things come to you. So I thought that this was all very
apropos.
Synchronistic.
Yeah, it certainly is.
It's fascinating. You should
I'll have to. Yeah, when you're
really
done, I'll have to read the book.
Yeah, so it was very interesting.
Well, that's awesome.
I know. But so for me, I'm like, everybody keeps talking about a spiritual awakening, and whether they get this Kundalini fire through their spine and all these, and me, I just needed something. I'll need it like really, like the Holy Ghost will have to fall from the sky and give me a lap dance. Like me, I need this really.
You need a succinct,
blunt.
I know, sign.
So, but yeah, it was all about, and again, I think he was able to go with this whole flow. It's just about being in the flow of life, right? Like if you see life like whitewater rafting, you got to just cross your arms, point your feet down, and go with the flow. And I mean, that a lot of it makes sense to me. There's a lot of things that resonate, but also because he was so in tune with his, I mean, he still does an evening and morning practice of meditation and of yoga. So I think he was also in tune with, I don't know, like if you're like blackout drunk all the time, they're like, yeah, I think I'll do this. Life brought it my way. Woo!
Well, I think there's certainly something liberating and powerful about handing over control and letting, living outside of your comfort zone. I think there's something that really is quite liberating about that.
And you were saying, like, let a force larger than you. And what made sense to me is that, yes, the universe probably does know better. What do we know? The universe has been around for billions of years.
We're
I know
a
the
blip
Christians
on the
are
radar.
like, do you mean 2000? No, I mean billions.
Yeah, we're just a blip on the radar in the grand scheme of things, and Mother Nature and the universe has been doing a fine job of managing things long before we ever came along. So
and
probably
like,
better job. Well,
powerless, like
probably,
we have will,
absolutely better job.
Exactly, it's like good to hook up with it, right? Maybe rise in between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the tide, life ebbs and flows, right? And the fastest way to get yourself drowned is to fight the current.
Yeah,
flow with the current.
That's what I say. We got to be a rag doll and go.
And just let the current take you. Stop fighting it, because that's when you drown.
Mm-hmm. So we were also saying that a couple things to mention coming off of this is that it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Obviously, listen, I think it's a struggle at the easiest of times for many of us, right? I mean, this is something that I don't know anyone who hasn't been affected, whether it's themselves, someone
they know,
love, someone they know. And I think the other thing is always, no matter how weird, we think we're the only ones going through it, right? It's that isolation. It's that feeling of no one else will understand this. And so we were saying, like, the biggest thing, and, and look, there's a lot of negatives of social media. I joke all the time, the confidence of an influencer. But that's a great way to reach out. Like, I feel like, especially during these times when we've been in lockdown and isolated and it's been different for everyone, that there's so many, the one good thing is there's so many places now you can reach out to. Well,
sure. I mean, mental health is not stigmatized as it once was.
No, but there's still the leap, unfortunately, just like we were talking about. It's come a long way.
It has. And I think that oftentimes we can be our own roadblock. I think that a lot of us live in fear. What others might think of us if we were to cop to the fact that we're struggling. I think that oftentimes, as I said, we are our own worst enemy.
Always. It's always, I think our whole life is getting out of our own way.
Absolutely. But with that said, I think the important thing to remember is that there are resources available if you're struggling, and no one is judging you. The only one who's judging you is yourself.
And everyone has been through maybe not clinical or,
Sure.
type of depression that is debilitating.
Sure. Situational or clinical. Everyone knows what it absolutely.
Everyone's had a visit they always say, from the black dog. Right?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, and myself included. There've been moments when I haven't had the motivation to get out of bed.
I think everyone has that.
Sure, the
covers over your head.
And pretend like the world isn't there. The world never goes away. So
the world is like a stalker or a persistent lover.
It's true.
It's still there, isn't it?
It is. It is.
The world is like me as a guest. Hi, Michael. I'm here for 2 weeks. Still here.
But we've already established this has been the best time of my life, best relationship ever.
So I mean that then there are different things, like they always I know one thing for me is you just got to change up that wallpaper, and that's sort of a metaphor. Like even if it's just going for a walk, just seriously, even watching something funny. I'm very careful now about my intake too. Like for me, I can't watch horror movies. I can't watch anything where
animals are getting hurt.
No, I can't. I can't because I take. I think we're computers, and even our subconscious takes it all in. And so you have to know if that's your thing and that's an escape for you. Great, then have at it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I have no idea what's going on in the world, because I can't stand watching the news.
Well,
that depresses the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So
it's so and of course moving your body. And they were saying I think for a long time, intellects and people who are spiritual, I'm doing the bunny ears. They ignored the body, right? Because they're like, it's just our shell, and it's my favorite three-way, as I say when I'm doing comedic meditations: mind, body, and soul. Move your body, get that get that energy moving, because every trauma, every depression, every incident, our bodies house it.
Of course,
right? It's in those cells. So I think it's really great to move it, get that lymph system moving. Call a friend, get laughing, right?
Exercise the demons.
I think it's where it comes from.
Yeah.
So we were saying we could give things like, I don't know, animals. You can hold a dog and they give them to prisoners, to inmates, because it lowers their blood pressure. It brings down anger. So and for everyone, it's something different, right?
Totally.
So, as I said, foods make a big difference for me. We joke about my stupid green drink in the morning. Look, guys, I don't even look forward to it. But, oh my gosh, the difference it makes for my health.
Yeah.
Right? I stopped doing it for a week, and
you felt the
repercussions.
Yeah, you felt it.
So it's back to if you're wanting to do one for yourself, it's celery, because celery detoxifies your liver, and our liver is our garbage disposal, right? It's working overtime, especially during the pandemic. Whether you drink or not, your liver's always working like a, old hooker at a half price sale.
I was waiting for that.
I know. That old whore is out there just working it like a single mother, washing and drying those dishes, man. She's doing it all, raising those kids. So celery, cucumber, and cilantro is the base. And then you can zhuzh it up with, I put in flaxseed. We were talking about starting your day with warm water and lemon. So and that has to be the first thing, before you even brush your teeth. You want to chug that down, and you can add maple syrup or honey. Make sure it's not boiling water, because apparently honey becomes poisonous in boiling water. Fun fact, I did not know.
Yeah, I did not know that.
And that's why I use the steel straws that you so kindly went out and got me, because when you're having lemon water, which is so great for you, it can erode your teeth. So.
Well, it's an acid. Makes sense.
So what do you do to get out your Depressivos times?
I
don't know why I made it Italian.
I don't know. I have been blessed to live in an area where I can immerse myself in nature. And, we talked about this before, I cut the grass this weekend, and it was like a 6-hour chore. But I love it. It's an opportunity to get out into the sun, into the fresh air, I'm forced to spend time with myself.
Right.
And not like, you know me. I mean, you've watched me. I've always got a million balls in the air at any given time, and I'm multitasking from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed. But I can't multitask when I'm cutting the grass. I'm forced to focus on one task, and I find that it kind of lowers my anxiety. Right. I listen to tunes, or I'm listening to the birds chirping or what have you. It's an opportunity for me to get out of my own head, which is a real gift. And then, I'm also blessed to have the animals, hanging out with the horses. I love just wandering
It's
around.
like grooming the horses is really meditative.
Oh my
too.
God, it is. And we have to do this, and it's a great bonding opportunity for you with the horse too, right? Like horses allo groom, so they're grooming each other, and that's part of what helps the horses build the bonds between them.
Oh, interesting.
And so with you grooming the horse, you're strengthening your bond with the horse. And
now, if there's not a horse in your area, give your neighbor a sponge bath. I'm trying to bring this into
knock
the
on
city.
your neighbor's door and comb
Hello,
their hair.
sir. Yeah. I've brought a comb. What?
Oh my
Nope.
God, I could just see it right now.
Yeah, well, you're right, in nature, and even if you live in the middle of the city, really just getting outdoors.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's absolutely.
Find a park.
Yeah,
right?
get out
Find
and
anything. Go to
absolutely
the beach,
get
go to
out
the-
and for sure get out in nature, and whatever your jam is. Like some people love
Hiking.
being by the water, so you know what? Go take a walk along the shore, or go plant your ass and watch the waves lapping up against the shore. And I mean, if you're someone who likes being in the woods, then there's trails. We are so fortunate to live in a country that is not only epically beautiful, but also has probably, in terms of square miles, the most, preserved land out of any of the developed countries, right? So
Yes,
there's
true.
all kinds of phenomenal opportunities to get out into the wild. So if you like hiking, there's trails everywhere. I guarantee it. Go find a local trail and just lose yourself in nature. Go for a walk. Concentrate on your own breath as you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are your lawn cutting, my yoga, surfing.
Yeah.
They're all moving meditations. Walking is a
Absolutely.
moving meditation,
Of course it
especially
is.
as you say, if you're
Yeah,
just
of course.
conscious of every step.
Of course it is. And, I'll just circle back to the whole mowing of lawn thing. Like it's almost aromatherapy as well, right? Like
I
who
was just gonna
does
say,
not?
You had my two best scents going.
Gasoline and
I
cut
love
grass.
gas. I really had a problem. I was out there huffing it, man. I'm like, freshly
my
cut grass and a
gosh.
little bit of diesel. Oh, my Sault Ste. Marie roots are showing right up the left nostril. And again, like one person's, that might not be somebody's jam, but
Yeah, if it's not, figure out what your jam is and go do
just
it.
Take a good bath.
Yeah, like whatever it is. I mean, I would obviously recommend that whenever you have the opportunity to get out in nature,
Oh,
because
of course. That's number one.
for sure,
Again,
because
you
I
wanna
mean,
be in sync. They know what they're
it's
doing.
the grounding force, right? I mean, and everything we do as an organized civilization is in contravention of what nature intended. So I think
We're very contrarian that way.
well, we are. Everything we do as human beings is contrary to what nature wants us to
That's
do.
for doing doggy style. Sorry. I'm an asshole. Who doesn't know that by now?
Oh my God. So get out in nature. It's grounding.
And also, like, trees, they are sentient beings, right? Get under one of those trees that's been around since before Christ. Mm-hmm. And, the roots are it's like an iceberg, right? The roots are just as long, if not longer, than the height of the tree. And they say there's real comfort. A lot of people, our friend Donna Roberts and many other people, there's a whole, like, what do you think Druids are? They worship trees. Mm-hmm. And because there's a whole lot of
There's an
healing
energy.
and protection.
Yeah,
and
there's an energy
a lot
about
of,
it.
that's where the whole term tree hugging. So, like I said, you don't need to have a mountain range, and some things that may be not easy for everyone to get to right now, especially. But probably find a tree or... try it, or just, just
There's nature everywhere, though, right? I mean, we can look at the most populated city in Canada, Toronto. There are parks everywhere. There's
and
no
water
excuse.
if you can
Yeah.
blow past through all the condos.
There's no excuse. Get out.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a big help. And as we started the show with vitamin D, like the sun,
Mm-hmm.
huge help. And I'd also say, you know, just like toxic foods aren't good for you, toxic people. Anyone in mind who, you know the people that when you spend time with them, you feel uplifted and elevated. And you know the other people who, and it's not this, no one's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not a good combo platter that you don't feel good around, or they don't listen, or so maybe you try and avoid those, cut them out.
Yeah, I think it's important. You know, I'm reminded in this moment of a mantra that a very dear friend of mine, Shelley Varela, always subscribed to. And I probably 20 years ago, she said to me, if someone is not making me more, then they're making me less. Like there is no in between.
No, and we are never flatlining.
No.
We're going up
or down, right? So by default, if someone is not plussing you, they're taking away from you. Yeah. And I think that we have a responsibility, and it doesn't make them bad people, you know. Some things just don't mix, you know, and so I think it's increasingly more important, and I'm finding as I get older, more so. You know, now that I've lived more life than I have left, I want to spend those.
I just assumed you were immortal. You don't know that, but yeah, like there's that's a precious commodity.
Exactly. You know, time. I've only got time. Time is finite, and I've only got so much left, and so I want to spend what I do have left, you know, experiencing life in light and love, and making a difference, not only to myself, but to the people I hold dear, and to my community. And I can't do that if I'm dragging an anchor along with me. And it doesn't make that person a bad person. It just makes them wrong for me.
No, that's why I want to be very clear about that. It's, again, I think we have so many labels on things like negative and positive, right and wrong, and that's not really not important. Yeah. It's also the universe is neutral. It's how we react to it. Yeah. And
exactly.
I mean, I want to have this like waiver before the next thing I say, because I know when I'm in the depths of depression and someone's like, you know, you should do, Carla. You need to do a gratitude list. I do want to punch them in the face. But so keep in mind, I get it when you're, you know, really down there, this is going to help, but I'll tell you the fastest way to turn things around. Two ways. Gratitude or go serve somebody else, right? You go help someone else, you forget.
Amen.
Your problem is now not, it's the second biggest thing on your plate, right?
Well, you know, and when we give of the heart, we receive more than we give, right?
And keeping in mind, it's not a direct exchange.
No, and
so never give thinking I'll get back, and it's not going to come back from that person.
That speaks to intent, right? And we've had these conversations before, right? You know, intent is everything. You know, a word that I might use with the wrong intent carries a completely different weight than it would if my intent was pure.
Right.
You know, so intent is everything. If you give with an intent to receive, then you're doing everything for completely the wrong reasons, right? And it's counterintuitive. Mm-hmm. I think we need to give just for the sake of giving, whatever that might be.
Letting go thing too, right?
Of course it is.
Just doing it. You're not expecting. Yeah. I mean, it's our expectations that always. Oh,
for sure. So, well, fuck. I mean, we always overthink everything. Just be.
I'm like, I've got a PhD in overthinking.
But you know, the greatest gift we could give ourselves is to just be, allow ourselves to be, you know, without expectation.
It's the be and then do instead of the do and then be.
For sure.
It's the be-do brothers.
For sure. The be-do instead of the do-be.
Yeah, that's right. There you go, Mom. A little Doobie's Brother reference for you. Gosh. So those are, like, again, having said all that, you know that when you're in them. When you're in the ditch. Like,
oh, sure. When you're bald deep in despair, like, you know,
kiss my ass. Like, that's why I like to be realistic with everything.
Sure.
And sometimes maybe just a funny show. Yeah. Right? And by the way, zero shame lying on the couch for a day.
Oh, God, no.
Doing nothing. And we never give ourselves permission to do that.
No, we don't. I mean, oftentimes we're in worse
really
enemies.
healing.
Of course it is.
All
to
you
just
can do is just
check
cocoon
out
in your blankie.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get back to that womb adjacent sitch.
Be kind to yourself now, especially now more than ever, right? And we've kind of talked about this before. This pandemic has kind of been the great equalizer. Everyone is suffering. Everyone's life has been forever altered by this pandemic, right? And it might be in varying degrees, but we are all forever changed as a result of what's going on in the world right now. So I think it's increasingly more important to be kind to ourselves, and in so doing, we're also kinder to others, right? Because we're in a better headspace to do so.
Well, maybe more empathetic, right?
For sure.
Because, I'm an empath. No, I'm not. Everyone in LA is an empath, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
Everyone in LA is everything.
A couple was fighting, Carla, and I had to step away because, I'm an empath. And I'm like, really? If you're an empath? Because you know how an empath is described? It's someone with the paranormal ability to read your thoughts and emotions. And I'm like, everyone here is from science fiction.
Oh, no, creepy.
Exciting. So I might, my joke used to be it's physically impossible to be in a bad mood when you're dancing or eating pancakes. So I guess I'll have to change that to vegan pancakes now.
And there are.
This guy.
And speaking of which, we discovered too that there's also an egg substitute that we can get. So we'll talk more about that next week, though. We'll try and find some and then make some recipes with some
pancakes.
Yes, with some.
And if nothing else, and if you're the kind like me, get a punching bag or scream. Do we have to? I remember when I was upset, I used to have to get into my car because if I cried in front of my dogs, felt like I shaved 6 months off their lives. Mine started to smoke. I'm like, I'm just going to get in the car when I get upset because they do. They feel your emotions,
of
right?
course.
So that they know when to come over.
Of course. I mean, do whatever you got to do.
Exactly. Which is different
to right
for
yourself.
everybody.
Of course it is.
That's why I always have our time. They're like, here's the following check. Do these 5 things. I'm like, all of humanity?
Yeah, it works for everybody. No, it doesn't.
No.
So figure out.
Then you feel even worse. You're like,
of course, because
that worked for everyone. Look at Kathy. She's better now.
I know.
I'm still a loser. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always different. Of course it would be.
Of course it is.
How would there be a one-size-fits-all cure for depression for everyone?
There isn't. And you know that. I mean, logical sense would dictate that it's impossible for there to be one size fits all. Unless you are Mrs. Roper and a muumuus. In that case, it's one size fits all.
By the way, he said he wanted to get a muumuus.
I'm going to get a muumuus.
What kind of physical hell are you trying to hide under there?
My house muumuus.
I got a house muumuus. Okay, here are the people I know who wore muumuus. Edie Gourmet, Homer Simpson,
Lainey Kazan.
Mrs. Roper being the hottest.
With her fro. Oh my God, her little red.
How much I love Mrs. Roper, who was she was never getting laid.
I know. I loved it. I think I'm bonding with her at this moment.
Muumuus. It's awesome.
I'm getting one.
All right. So you don't want to miss next week. Well, that'll end our problems with the camera angles. It's just you and I and a couple of muumuus. You're right. So there's only one thing that's one size fits all, and it's a muumuus, and we'd like you to aim higher. Oh God, I can't follow muumuus, so I really that's
yeah, that's a showstopper.
You're in a muumuus, that's making track pants and seem like dressing up.
Oh
so,
my gosh, I know. Well, I mean, it's socially acceptable for people to wear the pajamas to the grocery store now. So
always has been in LA. So yeah, why not? Yeah, we're never coming out of this. No, Good thing we're in the FM. I'm just glad the onesie's back. Little Dr. Denton's boot trap door.
Oh my God,
how you doing?
I double dare you to wear a onesie to the grocery store.
I will absolutely wear a onesie, and I'm going to pair them with a fabulous pair of Fluval high heels, a jaunty chapeau, and a cigarette holder.
Oh my God.
Dare just be like, hello, young sir.
I
brought my own bag.
Oh my God.
Throw them in here. I need some more junk in that white trunk.
Oh my gosh.
You're saying things like that's the worst thing, and I'm like, I can't wait to go to a garage sale.
Oh my God.
Thanks for joining us. Take care of, hit us up. Any questions, comments? We'll chat with you on social media if you're feeling lonely. We got you. We got your back.
Yeah, reach out, and we're here for all y'all.
Yeah, and be good to yourselves.
And each other. Oh, fuck, that sounds like Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, yeah, but we actually mean it. We're not horrible. Our dogs don't want to fight us. We haven't gone through producers like men. We've gone through men like producers, though. But we have great Yelp reviews. Well, all my exes are still friends on Facebook. You hit them up for references. But yes, I know
I can't say the same.
We can't ever end with be good to each other and be good to everybody else. Get it, Momo! Fuck it!
Bye, everybody.